so glad that I get to share a Bible story with you today. This month, we are talking about integrity. Remember that integrity is choosing to be truthful in whatever you say and do. In today's Bible story, we're going to learn about a man who did not have integrity, and things did not go very well for him. But before we get into any of that, there are two things that you have to know. So first of all, this story is not a fairy tale. It comes from the Bible in the book of 2 Kings, so we know that every single word of it is true. Second of all, a little background info for you. This was a time when God's chosen people lived under the rule of kings. And sadly, most of the kings were really evil. They did not obey God. So God used special messengers called prophets to remind the Israelite people about God's word. Now, with all that in mind, we can finally jump into our story. There was a man named Naaman who was the commander of armies in a place called Syria. And Syria and Israel didn't always get along very well. Anyways, Naaman was super important. Like I said, he was the captain of the army. The king loved him. The people respected him. But he had a really big problem. Because, you see, Naaman was sick. Like, really, really sick. He had a terrible skin disease called leprosy, which means that his skin was rotting away. So gross. And the worst part was, it was really painful and there was no cure. Now, it just so happens that in Naaman's house, there was a little servant girl who was from Israel, and she told Naaman about a prophet named Elisha that could possibly help him. So Naaman decided to travel all the way from Syria to Israel to find Elisha. And because he was so important and the captain, he probably thought that Elisha was gonna roll out the red carpet and throw a feast and bow down and pray and do a magical ceremony and he would be healed, but none of that happened. Instead, when Naaman got to Elisha's house, he didn't even come out to meet him. He didn't even speak to Naaman. Instead, Elisha sent a messenger to talk to Naaman. Naaman was really insulted, but it gets even worse because the messenger told him in 2 Kings chapter 5, verse 10, "Go, wash yourself in the Jordan River 7 times. Then your skin will be healed. You will be pure and clean again." No big deal, right? Dunk yourself in a river. Wrong. The Jordan River was disgusting. The water was dirty and murky and stinky, and Naaman did not want to go anywhere near it. He was furious. Not only had Elisha not gone out to meet him, he sent a messenger, but now he wanted him to dunk himself in a dirty river? No way. So, Naaman went home. And that would have been the end of a very sad story. But it's not, because when Naaman got home, his servants talked some sense into him. They were like, "Hello, just go to the river. Give it a try. What do you have to lose?" And Naaman listened, and he went all the way to the Jordan River. At the Jordan River, Naaman dunked himself 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times. And after the 7th time, when he came up out of the water, he was healed, completely healed. No rotting skin, no leprosy, all better. Naaman was so thankful that he wanted to give Elisha a gift for helping him. He returned to Elisha and said, in chapter 5, verse 15, "Now I know that there is no God anywhere in the whole world except in Israel. So please accept a gift from me." But Elisha said no. He wouldn't take a reward for something that God had done. So Naaman kept his money and headed home to Syria. But remember, I told you that this was a story about integrity? Well, we're about to get to that part. Because Elisha had an assistant, a servant, a helper. His name was Gehazi, and he had seen Elisha do all kinds of miracles, including what Elisha told Naaman. And he didn't exactly agree. In 2 Kings chapter 5, verse 20, Gehazi said, "My master was too easy on Naaman from Aram. He should have accepted the gift Naaman brought. I'm going to run after him. I'm going to get something from him, and that's just as sure as the Lord is alive." So Gehazi snuck out of the house and ran after Naaman and caught up with him. Naaman asked Gehazi if everything was all right. And get this, Gehazi lied. He said that Elisha had changed his mind and that now Elisha wanted 75 pounds of silver and 2 sets of clothes. Personally, I would have asked for more clothes, but just kidding, I would not have. I would have been lying. Naaman was more than happy to help, so he gave Gehazi the clothes and twice the amount of silver, 150 pounds. Gehazi took the gifts back home and he put them inside of Elisha's house and he tried to hide them. But Elisha found out what Gehazi had done. And Elisha said in chapter 5, verse 25, Gehazi, where have you been? Gehazi lied and said, I didn't go anywhere. But Elisha knew that Gehazi wasn't telling the truth. He knew that Gehazi had taken the gifts from Naaman. He said that Gehazi would now, plot twist, have the same skin disease that Naaman had been healed of. Gehazi got leprosy. Well, there you have it. Gehazi thought he could get away with a lie, so he could enjoy silver and fine clothes, and instead Gehazi himself ended up with Naaman's skin disease, all because he chose not to tell the truth to Elisha. This story, it reminds us of something that's really important in our lives today. When you're not truthful, you lose trust. We need to have integrity and be truthful about what we say and do, so that other people will know that they can trust us. All right, guys, I'll see you in CF Kids Online.